Gary, thing number two, we're shifting to Starbucks, ticker SBUX. Saw same store sales down about 7%. You're saying that's a big problem. You even mentioned that you were surprised that the stock was only down about the 4% it was after this announcement. Thing number two, Gary, disappointingly pumpkin spicy earnings from Starbucks.
By the way, Rob, we got to credit the interns on this one. It was a clever title. And I
Great
actually thought it
timing
was
as well.
Alex. I wrote Alex a note saying, wow, clever, great job. He wrote me back. He said, no, Andrew wrote that one. So, the good news is both of our interns are writing, clever, interesting, funny titles. Couple of smart young men, as we've said before, really proud of both of them. I had a nice exchange on Twitter or X with Amy Nixon, whose work I really like and respect. She's Texas Runner DFW. I think that stands for Dallas Fort Worth. Recommend following her. I really like her work. She posted another spooky earnings report from our favorite pumpkin spice distributor. Starbucks reports declining revenue again. Earnings per share fell almost 25%, and they're ghosting us on forward guidance for 2025. Starbucks shares down 4% and after hours trading. Give her credit. It's really well worded. Alex and Andrew, I think, may have learned their headline writing skills from Amy Nixon. My response to her was earnings per share of 80 cents versus estimates of $1.03. Same store sales down 7%. That is a huge number, Rob. Guidance pulled. Stock's still trading at 24 times next year's earnings, which will need to be revised down. I was shocked the stock was only down 4%. This was a bad quarter from one of the largest consumer service companies in the world.
Gary, I know CEO Brian Niccol, he's been really focused on kind of the internal dynamics, right? Starbucks is one of those companies that has got involved in a lot of the social aspects. How much of this could be kind of a similar Bud Light story that we have going on with Starbucks in terms of how they kind of plant their flag in the ground?
I think a lot of it. And look, we can't prove it, but that's my view on it. First of all, let's talk about how Brian Niccol got the job. Starbucks, he took over the job just weeks ago. Starbucks' most recent CEO somehow decided it was a good idea to put out in public that anybody contacting them after 6 p.m. better have a good reason. That strikes me as completely insane. He's running one of the world's largest multinational companies and is saying, don't call me, before the evening news. I mean, Rob, you and I regularly, when we have stuff to talk about, we talk on the weekends. My interns call me at 11 o'clock at night. Jordan, one of our old interns, and Danny, those guys used to text me information at 3 a.m. I would respond. What is this 6 o'clock? It's fine. If you're an hourly employee and you take off, that's cool. I respect that. No problem. You're running a big business.
Yeah. I think it's one of two things. Either Brian Niccol needs to work a little bit longer hours or open up those office hours, or you and I need to get paid a little bit more. One of two things.
Yeah, there. But just for, you're right, Rob. But just for clarity, that is not Brian Niccol's fault. That's how he got the job. He was not the 6 p.m. CEO.
Got it.
He may turn out to be a good or bad CEO, but lack of work ethic has not been an issue with him. So let's not tag him with an unfair label so far. But I think Starbucks has two problems, Rob, and let's talk about it. First of all, Starbucks, their product is very, very expensive for what it is. When you and I think about getting a coffee, like, I'm typically thinking, okay, it's a coffee. What's it going to cost? $1, $2, something like that, depending. You walk into a Starbucks and it's very easy to have individual drinks be $5, $6, $7. You buy a drink and a small food item, all of a sudden you're in for $20. It's, all of a sudden for a fast food snack, you're in the range of like those incredible, you've seen like the Five Guys receipts where like a burger, fries, and a drink are costing people $22. So they're a very high priced luxury item in an economy that's weak, that's not doing well. They're also getting clipped, I think, by the fact that, we still haven't had a full return to office. A lot of offices are, 50, 60, 70% empty. that disrupted people's regular patterns. And then beyond that, for years, Starbucks has aggressively involved itself in controversial social and political issues, alienating about half of their potential customer base. And, look, I can tell you, I stopped going to Starbucks years ago when they decided that when you walked in, it meant that your barista was going to talk to you about racial issues. And here's the thing, like all of us, like everybody listening to this, like everybody's part of the deep knowledge investing community, we're all in favor of racial equality. We're all in favor of treating people with dignity and respect, regardless of their race or their national origin, their background. But if I walk into a Starbucks to get a coffee, that's not what I'm there for. I don't want to wade into our society's most difficult social and political issues when I decide I want a latte. And it's just a mistake. It's a mistake to try to force people into constantly talking about these things. And it doesn't mean people are against you. It just means they don't want to always be. And my Starbucks barista isn't the person I want to have that conversation with. There are people I may want to have those conversations with, but it's not the guy making my drink at Starbucks. So I think it's a mistake on their end, and they're not the only ones. Other brands and companies like Bud Light, Target on the left, My Pillow and Goya on the right. And by the way, I don't think Goya's on the right. They ended up in a controversial situation simply because they were praised by President Trump and returned the compliment. But these companies have all faced customer backlash because they were involved in social and political issues on both the left and the right. My view on this stuff is it's much better if you are a customer service company to focus on providing people with a great product at a good price rather than trying to wade into these issues. And by the way, that's what we do here at Deep Knowledge Investing. When we bring in a new customer, a new client, a new subscriber, I don't ask them about their racial background. I don't ask them about their sexual orientation. I don't ask them whether they vote for Democrats or Republicans or what their political views are. We have one goal. That is to help those individuals make money. That's to help those individuals get better returns. When we talk about these issues, our view on this, we talk policy, not politics. If a politician has proposed a policy that affects economics, we're going to talk about it. But we're not going to say this person's an idiot, they're a bad human being, you should hate them. We don't want to be involved in that, because at Deep Knowledge Investing, we serve people on both the left and the right side of the aisle. And that's also seen in our board of advisors. On our board, we have people who have served in the Oval Office for both Democratic presidents and Republican presidents. We have people who have worked in the Obama administration, the Trump administration, both Bush administrations, people who work directly with Joe Biden. We're not going to ask people those questions. It's our job to serve everyone with respect.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Gary. I think another component, at least for me personally, too, is it's just lost that kind of local coffee shop feel as well, right? A place where you could go, sit down, relax, get some work done. Now it just seems like cattle call, right? Run as many of them through as quickly as we possibly can. Customer service has fallen off. And then sometimes I'm not sure whether or not I'm in a Starbucks or a Dairy Queen with some of these frappuccinos and ice creams or whatever it is they're selling. So interesting stuff happening at Starbucks, and we'll be sure to stay in tune with any new developments.
Yeah,
there.
I think they're selling sugar masquerading as coffee.
100%.
Right. You think coffee, like you don't think, oh, that's unhealthy, a certain amount of caffeine. My view, listen, you guys check with your own doctors. My view is a certain amount of caffeine is fine for you. There are certain benefits, certain risks. Okay, fine. But it's not a high calorie drink. But these guys, they're basically serving dessert masquerading as, morning coffee. It may not have the health benefits you think.
100%. Yeah, lots of issues over at Starbucks. We'll see how they handle those. Remember as well, take a moment. If you haven't already, subscribe for our free newsletter online. You'll get access to all the different material that we're posting. But in order to get complete full access, unrestricted, become a premium subscriber of DKI. You'll get access to all the current recommendations, when Gary's buying, when Gary's selling, and any unique information that's coming out goes out to all of our premium subscribers and definitely goes out to them first before anyone else.